Hi, my name is Greg Ron. I am an audio producer. I've done music and sounds for everything from apps on the mobile devices to video games to TV commercials, TV shows, albums, and I want to share with you today some tips on GarageBand iOS, getting the most out of your recordings that you're going to do from that app. Before I get into that, a little bit more about myself. I studied jazz arranging at Cal State Hayward. I studied orchestration at Berklee College of Music in Boston online. And I've recorded everything from solo piano to small bands, small groups, on up to full-blown 75-piece orchestras. So hope I have some useful stuff for you here today. We're gonna assume that you're gonna use the microphone built into your tablet or your phone for this, and I'm gonna show you how to get the most out of those resources and how to mix them and get them to sound as good as you can get them to sound. All right, so I have GarageBand open, and I'm going to show you how to play, how to record in layers. We're going to first record a guitar, and then we're going to go back and record a vocal over it. So I'm at my home screen here in GarageBand, and I'm going to go to the upper right and press the plus button to make a new session. And I'm going to use this audio recorder, and you see the button down at the bottom here. It says Instrument. I'm going to choose Instrument to get a guitar track. And here we are. We have an instrument track. It's got some settings. If you notice on the bottom right, there's a dial that says Room. That's some reverb. I'm going to bring that down for now. And then on the far bottom right corner, there's a monitor. And if you have headphones plugged in, you can click that and you can listen through your headphones and you can see the level there. So you can listen to what you're doing as you're going. So you're going to need that. Now, before we go any further, notice up at the ruler bar at the top, it only goes to 8 bars and there's a little plus sign. We want to click on the plus sign and change this 8 bars to be automatic, so we don't want any limitation on how many bars we're going to have. So that takes care of that, and I think we're ready to record now. So we'll get a count off, and here we go. And pressing stop, and there's our guitar track. Let's go and look at our tracks. And the tracks button is third from the top left corner. There's that little thing with the little bars in it. Those are the tracks. If you click on that, take you back to the tracks window. And here's our guitar. Let's listen back to it and see if we can hear it. Okay, so there's our guitar track. Now, we want to add a vocal track. So let's go back to the beginning again. And at the bottom left-hand corner is the plus sign. Plus, we'll bring up the audio recorder window again, and we click on voice. And now we have a voice track. It's got a bunch of settings here, and vocal hall is on again. I'm going to bring that off because we don't want reverb at the moment. And our monitor's off, bottom right, so let's turn that on. And now we have our monitor. And let's record our vocal.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me.
Okay, so I have both tracks here now, and we can play and have a listen to see what they sound like.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's see if we can bring things up a little bit. They're a little soft overall. So if we go to the upper right here and click on the wheel and we get track controls. Let's go here and see what we got. We're going to do the lead vocal track first. And we can see the volume is not all the way up. Compressor's off. So let's play the track and see what we can do.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the
Bring the
stars.
compressor up a little bit.
Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter.
And then we can go a little deeper and we will look into the compressor.
Hold my hand.
So there's with no compressor.
Darling, kiss me.
So that sounds a little better. And let's see what we can do with the guitar too.
Fly me to the moon, and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on
So we've got a little more gain and clarity on these. One thing to keep in mind is this is tracking one instrument at a time, one voice at a time. You have a lot more control when you're doing it that way. There's going to be times where you're going to record all at once, a room full of people or a person, you playing guitar and somebody singing and so forth, or maybe somebody playing a percussion instrument. So what you're going to do in that situation is you have to mix while you record because you only have one chance to capture it and you can't really adjust. You can EQ things and compress things a little bit afterwards, but you can't do any drastic changes to the individual levels of things. So the first step is to arrange people in the room in a way that makes sense. So whoever's closest to the microphone, and most microphones are on the bottom of your phone. On my iPhone 6S, it's down next to the input for the headphones. So you can kind of aim that towards the singer, for instance, and that would be probably who you want closest to the mic, and then maybe your guitar a little farther away. So you got somebody playing cowbell, well, then you want to just put them outside in the next room. Tambourine, percussion instruments like that, have them farther away from the microphone. And that'll help you capture a better mix going in. And then once you've got that mix, then you can apply things like compression and EQ, like I just showed you, to try and help the overall thing be more even. Compression is going to make it more even. It's going to take the loudest signals and make them a little softer so that the softer signals can come up. So that's going to really help a lot. So I'm going to take you through how to take your vocal track and apply some compression and EQ to it to help make it sound better and sit in the mix better of your song. In my session here, you can see I've got a vocal snippet on a vocal track, and we can play that a little bit.
I really
hear what it sounds
can't
like.
stay. I have to go away.
So you can see the levels aren't really hot. It's kind of low level, a little bit of meter, green meter here. It's a low level recording. So we're going to use compression, which is built in. If you hit up here on the right hand corner, track controls, it brings up some plugins that you can apply to your tracks. Right here we have a compressor and a treble and a bass control. So if we play our track, we can simply slide the compressor
I really can't
to the right and you'll start hearing the difference.
I have to go away. This evening has been so very nice.
And there it is without the compressor. What a compressor is doing is it's smoothing out the difference between the highs and the lows, the high volume and the low volume of the track to make it more even. And when you're mixing with other instruments, that's important because when everything else is playing, you're going to lose soft words. And if you turn it up loud enough to hear those, then your loud words are going to be too loud. So this is a simple way to do that. You can also mess with the bass and treble, right? And just change the tone a little bit. It's going to be brighter.
I have to go away. This evening has been so very nice.
So that's the basic, simple way to do it. Let's take a listen to this. Let's go a little deeper. Okay, let's hit plugins and EQ and go straight to the compressor where we get more detailed controls for the compressor. First up, threshold. This is the point at which the compressor will kick in and start doing its thing. So up here at 0 dB, that's the loudest portion of the track. It's going to play, and I'll slide it back down and lower the threshold, which is going to cause the compressor to start doing its thing sooner.
I have to go away. This evening has been so very nice.
So it has the effect of making the track louder, but at a
I
certain
really
point,
can't stay.
you're going to start to get distortion.
I have to go away. This evening has
so
been
let's try leaving that about there.
So very.
Now the next parameter is ratio. Ratio basically tells you, it helps you decide how much you want the original signal compressed in relationship to the compressed signal. Did I say that right? How much you want to compress it in relationship to the original signal. So for instance, if the low is 1 to 1, right? Nothing's going to change. It's the same. Then you can move up to 2 to 1 and so forth. 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Let's play the track and we'll hear what effect this has.
Very nice.
So we'll start back here at 1 to 1.
I really can't stay. I have to go away. This evening has been so very nice.
Compression on there.
I really can't stay. I have to go away.
At 30 to 1, way up here, you're going to start getting some kind of distortion.
This evening has been so very nice.
I like somewhere around 2 to 3 to 1. Now let's talk about the attack. The attack is going to determine how many milliseconds it takes for the compressor to actually kick in. Different than threshold. Threshold is the level. It's looking at the volume of the track. This is going to set the timing up to 200 milliseconds. So that's going to allow 200 milliseconds of the sound to go through before it starts compressing it. So if you want it to react really fast, you can put it down here to 0 and it'll start compressing right away. This is more apparent and more useful with percussive sounds like snare drums and things like that, where sometimes you want to let some of that attack come through at the very beginning and it gives it a nice percussive feel, but then have it compress and dim down right after that. So we'll put the attack, we'll change the attack and hear how that sounds.
I really can't stay. I have to go away. This evening has been
Again, with a smooth vocal like this, it's a pretty subtle difference. All right, then gain. Gain is just your overall volume. It doesn't change the amount of compression, but it will make the track louder.
Very nice.
Be careful with this one because you can easily cause distortion. If you just crank it up, you're going to end up...
I really can't stay. I have to go away. This evening has been
so I like to leave that at 0 just to be safe.
Nice.
And then, of course, our last parameter is mix. That tells you how much of the original signal and how much of the compressed signal are mixed together. Over here, It's zero
This
compressor.
evening
It's
has
all just the original
been
track.
so very nice.
And then up here, 100% all compressor. This is a good setting to use because
can't
you're using a compressor, so
stay.
that's the reason
I
you're using it.
have
You might
to
as well put it
go
at 100%.
away.
Let's look at visual EQ next. So this is an equalizer. It shows frequencies from lows down here. These are your bass low frequencies, mid-range, and then these high frequencies. So you can sweep these as you're listening to the track.
This evening has been so very nice.
You want a little more clarity and a little more sibilance up on the high end, you can add that. Or if you've already got too much sibilance and S's going on, you can remove that.
This evening has been so very nice.
You can just dial that in till it sounds good.
I really can't stay. I have to go.
Let's look at the track Reverb next. Reverb is a nice effect. And we can look at the parameters of it. First of all, pre-delay. What that does is it allows a little bit of time to pass before the reverb kicks in. And that's nice on percussive sounds, again, like snare drums. Actually creates a little space to the original sound before the reverb kicks in. You won't notice it as much on our vocal track because it's a very legato track. Spread, that's your stereo spread, how wide the reverb's going to be if you're listening in stereo. Reverb time is how long the reverb is going to be.
Away.
So let's run the track a little.
This evening has been so very nice.
And then there's high cut.
I really can't stay.
Sometimes reverbs can be too echoey, too present and overwhelm your mix. If you cut some of the highs back, it'll sound more natural.
So very nice.
And then down here, of course, is your mixer. You've got a dry signal
I really can't
level.
stay.
That's your original signal. And then the wet
I have to go
is what brings it up.
This evening has been so very nice.
So there's a very wet signal.
I really can't stay. I have to go
the high
away.
cut so you can hear the effect of that and the wet signal.
This evening has been so very nice.
Much longer reverb. Shorter.
I really
the stereo
can't
spread.
stay.
This you'll notice more if you're wearing headphones.
I have to go away. This evening has been so very
and of course the pre-delay.
nice.
The pre-delay is useful for,
I
again,
really
percussive
can't
instruments.
Stay.
You have a little bit of space before
I have to go away.
reverb actually kicks in. There's 30 milliseconds.
This evening has been so very nice.
Okay, so I'm in a really noisy environment right now, and I'm going to show you how to do some adjustments on the input. I'm going to turn the monitor on by clicking on the bottom right-hand corner where it says Monitor Off. Monitor on. Okay, so now we can hear my voice. I'm going to click in the upper left hand next to the In button, and I'm going to set the noise gate to on. And right away you can hear, in between my words, that the fan sound is going away. Test 1, 2, 3. You can change the threshold, but if you get too far, some of the words might drop out. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Check 1, 2. So by leaving it here, what's going to happen is you can hear it in action doing its thing, and you're not going to lose any words. So you just want to make sure you have it doing what it's supposed to do without losing any of your words. We'll click done. Let's click record, and let's record our voice. Test 1, test 2, test 3. S4. All right, now we can listen back to that by going over here to the track control. Test 1, test 2, test 3, S4. So you can hear that this one was working. You can hear the noise gate kicking in and out. Now you can also not use it going in, and you can use it in the track during mixdown instead. So let's record this one, and we will have the noise gate off. So we'll get all the fan noise. This recording contains all of the fan noise because the noise gate is off, and we can apply the noise gate to the track during the mix. So now we can use the noise gate on the track after the fact. So we're going to open the noise gate, and we're going to turn it on, and we're going to apply it to the track. This recording contains all of the fan noise, and now the same line with the noise gate turned off. This recording contains all of the fan noise because the noise gate is off. So there you can see how helpful the noise gate is, especially if you're recording in live environments with a lot of background noise. It's probably best to use it after the fact because then you don't have to worry about losing any words. You may have noticed our recording actually clipped off the beginning of the word this when we had it going in. So it's a safer bet to apply it afterwards because then you'll make sure you get everything and you can dial it in better. So hope this helps, and thanks for listening.